Hi, I'm Ash, and you are watching um, my review of the episode 1 of Star Trek Picard. Now, I have to say, if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want any spoilers, now is the time to stop watching. So again, if you've not seen the episode and you don't want it spoiling, stop watching now. So, last time we saw Jean-Luc Picard was in the film Star Trek Nemesis, so that was nearly 20 years ago. And obviously in the end of that film, Lieutenant Commander Data sacrificed his life for that of Jean-Luc Picard. And that was the last we ever saw of any of the Next Generation crew. And we've been waiting nearly 20 years for any kind of continuation of Next Generation, Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and we have that now with Star Trek Picard. So anyway, it's 10 episodes, and episode 1 dropped this week, and it's a weekly episode drop. It's not a whole box set that's dropped all at once, so we have to wait week by week, which I kind of like because it gives you a chance to digest the episodes. I think we've been spoiled with this whole Netflix generation of them dumping a whole series and you binge watching it in a day or two. I think that it's nice because we all want to know what happens at the end, but I don't think we can appreciate it as much as we can, as if we get an episode a week, because I've watched Picard 3 times now and really digested everything, and I don't think I'd have done that if they'd dumped all 10 episodes. Anyway, so it's quite an interesting episode. Starts obviously Captain Picard's retired completely from Starfleet. We find out in the episode that he leaves Starfleet because he no longer can support their morals. He no longer justifies what they did. And it's all to do with the planet Romulus going supernova and his rescue attempts, which goes wrong, where there's some kind of attack from what they call synths, which are, as we find out later in the episode, androids. And we also find out later on in the episode that Starfleet have been trying to develop androids which are very similar to Data. Now, Data was a one-off. We had B4, which was a really bad replica of Data in the last Star Trek film, which they tried to download his memory engrams into B4, but it didn't work. We found out a little bit more, quite a lot more about that in this episode. We also find out that the mysterious character Daj from the trailers is an android. She's a perfect android. She's a living flesh and blood android, which is why she goes to Picard. She's had some kind of something in her brain, which has drawn her to Picard. So she goes to Picard to find to get help. He soon catches on, and we have obviously the dream sequences with Data, which are quite significant. We find out that Data drew this, that painted a picture 30 years ago of Daj and gave it to Captain Picard, and it's basically Data's daughter, but without his knowledge. He knew that Starfleet were trying to develop androids from Data, with him being a one of a kind, etc., etc. Anyway, Daj gets killed in this first episode, and it's like, oh, okay. Then Picard goes to see Dr. Agnes. I can't remember what her last name is, but she's going to be a recurring. She's a main person in Picard. She looks, researches synthetics. She's quite high up. She discusses quite a lot about B4, the synths, and how it's not possible to create a perfect android with living flesh and blood, or is it? She says no, but obviously we know that it can happen. And there's also a big reveal that every android they make, there's a twin. So of course at the end of the episode, we go to the Romulans. They have a base, and it's between Daj's twin. She's a research development person at this Romulan site, who's an identical twin. So obviously she's an android as well. Probably doesn't realise it, as didn't Daj. She didn't realise she was an android. My point being, and this is only a theory, I think we've been thrown a massive curveball by the trailers of Star Trek Picard, because they're making out that it's the Romulans and the Borg are going to be like the main antagonists of Star Trek Picard. They're going to be the bad people. And to a degree, I'm pretty sure there will be. We didn't see much Borg activity in this first episode, only at the very, very end. It was sort of a cliffhanger, but we knew that this Romulan base was a Borg cube, which they'd obviously accumulated. We're obviously going to find out how. But I think that perhaps Brent Spiner, and they say that they hide the obvious things in plain view. He's always said that he's playing Data, but only in a few episodes and only in dream sequences. Now, Brent Spiner's quite a good actor. You know, he can say yes and no to pretty much what he wants, especially where Star Trek is concerned. In Star Trek The Next Generation, there's 4 or 5 episodes where we see Data's brother, Lore, who is an android, and he looks like Data, played by the same actor, but he's evil. Now, I've got to thinking after watching 2 or 3 episodes that perhaps somewhere along the line, Lore is going to be involved in this, because he is evil in The Next Generation, and this synth attack on Mars, which showed up, made Captain Picard quit Starfleet, quite a lot of other things as well. So I think Lore's going to turn up, and thinking about it, would Brent Spiner really sign up just to play a couple of dream sequences as Data? As significant as they are, he's apparently not in many. He's not in every episode, but I don't know. I reckon Lore will turn up, and he'll have a pretty big significant part to play. It was a very interesting episode, quite slow paced, which is nice. It sets up the story nicely. So watch this space. It was great. If you've not watched it, watch it. If you're not a Trekkie, watch it anyway. There's probably, like Star Trek Nemesis, you need to watch, and 1 or 2 couple of Next Generation episodes that you need to watch. Not necessarily need to, but it would make more of an understanding. But yeah, it's a great series. It's going to be a great series. We've only seen 1 episode, so there we go. There's my review. Live long and prosper.